Hi guys, welcome to this video. My name is Ankit and today we will see how to make a Canadian style resume. We'll be working on a chronological format resume type which is used by people who are applying in their own field. They are not switching their function or sector and they have a chronological sequence of work experience in their professional career. So let's get started. So guys, this is how a chronological format resume looks like. I make it on a Word file because it's compliant with the applicant tracking system that many recruiters use, and it's easy to customize it for every role, so it's easy to modify. I've been using this format for almost a year now since coming to Canada, and I've got calls from some companies like Amazon, Nestle, P&G, Walmart, Canadian Tire, and many others. So this seems to be working for me. So let's get started. First thing is you mention your name in the middle and your address or where you're located. It helps recruiter know where you are if it's relevant to that position. Email and mobile number, these are some basic stuff. LinkedIn profile is very important. Many people miss this, but many recruiters check your LinkedIn profile too. So make sure that you mention your LinkedIn profile, and everything should be uh, mentioned in a structured format. It should be neat. So use tabs to align these things. So don't use backspace like this. Use tab so that it's aligned from left to right. Use here the central alignment for LinkedIn profile, and so that everything comes down aligned in a linear format. Just mention the profile or your designation or your profile or which role you're applying to. So let's assume that I'm applying to a planning manager position. So this is the initial part. Then comes the main introduction piece. This is something which is like an elevator pitch. So you want to tell the recruiter about yourself, and this is the first thing that recruiters read. This is the part which we customize whenever we are applying to different roles. So if I'm applying to a planning position, this is something which I have written, specializes in delivering retail sales, margin and inventory goals. So this I have picked up from the job description. So if they are looking for these aspects and I have experience in these, so I will mention them. And similarly, you can have a look, also mention some keywords or some key parameters, that KPIs such as sell through, weeks of sales, sales per square feet. This is relevant to my position, but for your role and your experience, whatever key aspects or skills that you think are relevant to that role, make sure that you mention it here. And you can pause it and have a look at as to how I frame these sentences. And once you have made the content, make sure that it is aligned well. So as you can see, I've used the justify type so that on the left and right side all the sentences are aligned and it looks very neat. So this is the first introduction part. Then coming to some areas of expertise. One is based on the skill sets that you have, and the next is computer proficiencies. I've got many recruiters, many HR asking me whether you've worked with Excel or SAP or Tableau during the first HR round. So this is something that they want to know. So if it is already mentioned in your resume, then it saves their time. In terms of areas of expertise, these are some skills that I mention after reading the job description, and I think that these are relevant to that position. So these are just the ones that will catch the recruiter's attention because they will have very less time going through our so many resumes. So it makes it easier for them to identify that we have the skill sets that they are looking for. So for a planning role, something like a pre-season planning, sell-through analysis, and the other ones you can see. Similar with computer proficiencies. So while making it, I have not used any table here because if you use a table, it won't go through the ATS system. So these are just tab. I've typed it and used tabs to align it. Then comes our chronological sequence of professional experience, starting with the most recent one. So first is your designation, CPG distribution. This is something which I have written just to explain what kind of company I'm working with. June 21 to present, so this is the timeline. Then company name and which location. So uh, if you're working in Canada, Toronto, any city here, or if you have worked in India or any other country, do mention that. It makes it easier for them to understand where have you worked. uh, and then just one line about the company, so that if they are not aware about your company, so this will help them understand what kind of company it was. And again, use tabs to align, so you can see all these timelines. All the years that I've worked are all aligned, one below the other. Similarly, you can see for every job experience, I have used this format. Here there's an extra gap, so I'll just pull it up. Then comes the main part of framing your achievements. So rather than just mentioning your roles and responsibility, make sure that you are mentioning your achievements. And this is the toughest part in a resume building. You have to take a lot of time, think it through well. How I break it down is, I look for three things. So first part is, what did you do? Second is, how did it impact the company? And third is, how did you do it? If you can think of these three aspects in every role, this will make your job easier to create these points. Let's take this as an example. So achieve 25% growth in sales of winter wear category through these aspects during the season. So this is what I achieved. This is what the company benefited from, and how I did it was through layout optimization and these aspects. So similarly, everywhere you will see increased so and so profit. So use numbers, use measurable achievements. So increased profits by 1.5%. So this is how the company benefited. Uh, how did I do it? I reduced discounts. This is what I did. I reduced discounts. And how did I reduce discounts? By better replenishment, clearing slow movers. So this is the how part. So if you break down your achievement as what did you do, how did it impact the company, and how did you do it, it will make your job easier, and you will be able to make these points in a faster and better way. Similarly, once you have done it, you have completed it, make sure that you have some extra points, uh, because you would have worked in different roles, or you would have different skill sets, but not all skill sets are relevant to that role. So you want to only focus on the ones that are important. So remove the ones that are not relevant, add the ones that are. So 4 or 5 points, 3 or 4 points for every role will be good enough. And similarly, once you have created everything, then the last part is about your background. Before that, you can see here my first experience was back in 2012. I think it's not very relevant. If I talk about it, I'll just exceed 2 pages of it. I would want my resume to be limited to 2 pages. So I did not mention about my achievements here. I just mentioned that I've worked in this company for so and so time. So if you think you have some experience which is not worth mentioning about, it's not very relevant, you can just cut it short. And then the last part is education and certification. Just keep it very brief. They are just looking for when did you complete it, any certification that you have done. Just mention what time and what was it about. The last part I key for anything specific that I want to tell. It need not necessarily be about a personal project. It can be any task that you have done, or even off work initiatives or achievement that you have been part of, and you want to tell the recruiter which you think would be relevant to this role. So here I have mentioned about a project that I was working on, and you can see that I've used dollar, million, and terms like this. So everywhere you can see millions and dollars being used. So this is how I've created my resume. Things to watch out for is, first, that you add your LinkedIn profile here. The second one will be that you always use keywords, uh, keywords from the job description. So like we saw in the initial part here, using keywords here, again using some keywords in the area of expertise here. Then use measurable and data points while making your achievements, not to mention the roles and responsibility, but mentioning achievements and breaking it down in three parts. What did you do? How did it impact the company? And how did you do it? The fourth part will be computer proficiencies. Don't miss it. Make sure you're mentioning your computer proficiencies in some or the other way. Finally, just keep it short and limit it within 2 pages. Once you have done it, just save it in a PDF format and apply using that. So, this is how a Canadian resume is made. I hope you found it useful. All the best for your journey, for your job search here. And good luck, guys. Take care. Bye bye.